Hello once again, and welcome to JCTV Spotlight on the Arts. Today's March 14th, 2018, in the spring with a 27-degree temperature to start things off today. If you call that spring, that's all right with me. I'm sitting in the JCTV studio here in Missouri State Capitol, the city of Jefferson City, Missouri. I'm your host, Rick J., with a special guest today I've been looking forward to interviewing for the last 5 or 6, maybe close to a year. The gentleman's name, the artist's name is Wayne Doornbosch. He's from Osage Beach, Missouri. And Wayne has came into the studio today in the absence of Jerry Thomas, who was scheduled for the interview, but Jerry had an operation about a year ago, back type, and he's dealing with a lot of pain now. So he got a chance to see a doctor in St. Louis today. So I'm just very pleased to actually pull in at an earlier date Mr. Wayne Doornbosch. Well, welcome to JCTV, Wayne.
Very glad to be here, Rick.
Well, thank you, sir. And I always like to naturally start things off in a sense, to ask you to tell us a little bit about you, your life at this point, those highlights that really best describe Wayne Doornbosch.
Not in the art world. I started out where I had 50 years in the masonry business.
Oh, my.
But I always was into art my whole life anyway, even though I did that for a living. I didn't start painting till 1992. Prior to that, it was all drawings and everything. Even though when I was a kid, I did some paint by numbers.
Yes, good old paint by numbers.
Yeah.
That's great. Now we're going to see some of Wayne's work in this 30-minute program, so bear with us, but we'll dig a little bit deeper. Now, you're retired.
I am.
After 50 years, and family, would you like to say anything to the family?
I'll say hi to my wife, Suzanne, and my daughter, Debbie, and Denise, and my grandkids.
Yes. Are they too few to number or to mention, or?
Courtney and Ryan.
Courtney and Ryan. Well, that's a great hello to Courtney and Ryan from grandfather Wayne, if I may call you by your first name.
Yes.
Now, you're at the Osage Beach. I just imagine that you do some fishing down that way.
I don't fish.
You don't fish?
No.
I see.
No.
But I do see that you do keep that brush pretty busy.
I do.
That's great. That's an excellent venue to paint from on the Lake of the Ozarks here in the state of Missouri. Not far from Jeff City. What is it, about 60 miles?
50.
50 miles. So that's a nice little trip from Jeff City. Not far from my home, actually. Where I reside. Well, can you share with us, Wayne, when you first was inspired to start painting and what triggered that, and then what continues your interest to continue on? There's got to there's some reason we keep going and moving that brush and mixing those paints.
I think maybe a little bit of competition is in this.
I see.
Going way back in like first grade, I remember everybody had to draw a picture of their house.
Uh-huh.
And I felt like mine had to be the best.
Well, I see.
Not saying it was, but I just felt that way.
I can identify.
And my dad, he did like cartooning. And so I sort of followed after that a little bit, and I would draw a lot. I was into, like in high school, I went to art school in high school, but also architectural and mechanical drawing. I was into that a lot.
I see.
So I would draw plans for my houses that I lived in and stuff like that.
Now, was that at the college level, or you picked that up in
That was
at the high school?
high school.
Or in the high school?
But also, I was in the Naval Seabees, which was construction. So I went through different schools there, estimating and stuff like that, which helped me a lot when I was a contractor.
Definitely.
So that's what I did.
And so now you continued that on with your masonry. Now, we had a guest, Stephen Wilson, on the program recently, and he uses masonry to create different pictures, which is very interesting.
Real masonry?
Yes, real masonry.
Oh,
the mud, I guess.
he carves the clay and then slices it into bricks.
Somewhat, yes.
Yes,
and
yes.
then puts it on a canvas somehow, or,
He puts it
or
on
a
a
board.
canvas.
Yes, and he makes these contemporary type of art. So it's very unique. You might look him up on YouTube also, Stephen Wilson, and quite interesting. If we run into so many different guests here with different types of artwork, so it's always something new. You get it all here at Spotlight on the Arts. Well, let's see. I've admired your work. They're so awesome. And I admired them first with Mr. Bill Woods in the Camdenton area, has the Bill Woods Gallery. Bill was on our second show. So can you tell us a little bit about your venues that you like to show in? Do you go to many shows and showing your artwork?
Actually, I have pieces at Bill Woods
at this time?
Gallery.
Excellent.
And I think one of the best ones I ever had was called The Vine on KK and was in in Osage Beach, Missouri.
I see.
And that closed down.
Oh,
But I have all hopes for the new buyer that I can get in there again.
excellent.
But I
excellent.
sold 56 pieces in there when it was The Vine.
Oh, excellent. That was a great venue. I have one piece at Bill Woods Gallery at this time, down at the Bennett Springs, one of three I'm showing there. So, and Bill is excellent, has an excellent gallery showing different pieces of work through different artists throughout the area. He also is, I believe, president of that art club in that area. Now, are you a member of the art club?
Actually, I was years ago, but I just...
I see.
I'm not in it right now.
I see. So it sounds like it keep pretty busy. Well, let's jump into now some of the particulars. What's your favorite medium that you do like to?
My favorite would be oil. That's what I lean to all the time. Even though I've done watercolors, I've done acrylic, I've tried them all out, and I favor the oils. I've done some sculpting, but I favor the oil paints.
I see.
So when I get up every morning, that's the first thing I go to.
Oh, excellent. I love oils. I've shared with the viewers in the past, but I do love oils. To me, they're magical, especially when you're doing clouds and water. It just really brings things together. And I can see that you definitely have a handle on your oils.
Well, thank you.
in your compositions. Well, what is your, should we say, your favorite subject matter that you like to paint? You may have a varied list.
Every time I start something new, I think that's my favorite. I'll do still lifes for a while. I do a lot of paintings of people, figural. I'll do portraits, but there are portrait painters that are really, really good. So I can't call myself a portrait painter, but I'll paint people. You know?
Right. Oh, I see. And I've seen some of those. They're excellent. Also.
I like to capture different poses that are interesting not necessarily seeing their face, but like my grandson looking out the window.
Yes.
My granddaughter, when she was like 7 years old, which she's 20 now, but she didn't like posing for the camera at all, but I would try to get candid pictures of her. And I painted. Well, she now, both of them, my grandson and my granddaughter, actually all I have to do is ask them to model a certain way, and they'll do it.
I see.
No
so
problem.
Now they
So
know they can
I
do
use
it.
them a lot.
Oh, super. And they know that your work speaks well for itself, so they don't mind being a model.
They
That
don't
sounds
mind.
great. That's good to know. Now, do they share any interest in painting or artwork?
I don't think so.
That hasn't ripped off yet in
No.
the DNA yet, I guess.
No.
Super. Well, as you know, I've partnered with the Runge Conservation Nature Center here in Jefferson City, Missouri, for an exhibit that will include, right now we have 51 different artists throughout the state. It's been on the program or is scheduled to be on the program at a later date. They'll be exhibiting May through June of 2018 at the Runge Center, I call it for short, in Jefferson City. And you'll also see Wayne's work there through those 2 months. Can you give us an idea of what you might be submitting in that exhibition and for the months of May and June?
I have pictures that I've painted of blue heron, some wolves, a mother wolf with a couple baby wolves.
Excellent. I can't wait to see those.
A mother duck with some ducklings with her in the water.
Super. Well, I can't wait for the drop-off April 30th for the guests that are planning on that. Well, Wayne, we must take a break, so hang with me if you will.
Okay.
After the break, we learn more from artist Wayne Doornbosch and learn more how he arrives at a project theme, how he brings it together, and any techniques that he might want to share with us. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Nice. Run! Yes, go! Yes! No! Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm gonna look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
Hello and welcome back to Spotlight on the Arts here at JCTV. I'm Rick J., your host, inviting you to spend another few minutes with us. And the artist from the Osage Beach, Missouri area, well-known artist Wayne Doornbosch, who is here with us today to share the highlights of his love for art. As you know, it's all right here at JCTV, Spotlight on the Arts. Well, Wayne, turning to you now, I want to make you feel comfortable and share with us, if you can, you shared so much before the break. Now I'd like to first have you explain how you arrive at a project idea and really what kind of inspires you, maybe triggers that idea. How do you arrive at that? Do you go into a trance and look at the water?
Actually, I think looking at the magazines that I get of other artists give me ideas of, I don't want to do their painting, but gives me an idea of, I could set up my own still life or whatever and do that.
Yes.
I love naming them now. When I first started painting, I couldn't think of a name. But now as I'm doing paintings, I keep changing the name, and I come up with better ones, and I like being creative like that. I like when you look at anybody's painting and say, how did that artist ever think of that?
Exactly.
I love it. If somebody can look at my painting and feel that way, I like that.
Or if you can give it a name that has a little bit of a hook and think, well, how did he come up with that name?
Well, I have one I did of Santa Claus on a motorcycle going around the world with a long string of bikers behind him, and I call it Elves, Angels.
Oh, excellent.
So a little snap to it, you know.
Well, yes. Hopefully we can bring that up during the edit, and that's one I'll be looking for also get down to Bill Wood's gallery once again. Well, we all take steps in preparation. After we have the idea kind of locked in our mind, what steps would you recommend, or what steps do you use from the beginning once you come up with the idea? Kind of step us through that if you can. What feels good to you? Do you do a drawing first?
Usually, yes.
I see.
I usually draw it out on canvas first,
Right.
so I can get it together, this and that.
I see.
I like to tell a story with it where it has some kind of meaning.
Oh, yes.
I'm about ready to make a painting that really only means something to me,
Yes.
but to somebody else it'll be just a painting.
A painting.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's a guitar that I owned in high school.
Oh, excellent.
That was the mother grail of guitars.
That had to be a Fender, maybe?
That was a Gibson Les Paul custom.
Les Paul. I
Black
have one of those
Beauty.
at home, handed down from my father. I can identify, 1932 model.
Oh, this is the 59 black, called nicknamed the Black Beauty.
Oh, yes. Now I know what you're talking about.
And I did not know that meant that much at that time. Like a lot of people with cars and that, you know.
Yes. So when we see that painting, we're going to know a little bit of the history and what it means to you on that subject matter. And then basically you go to the canvas and start with a background, sky or a good background. Do you like to do just a solid background, or do you do a multicolor to pick up the eye and try to reach your perspective?
A lot of times I put a lot of items into my painting, but really it's good to have a main focal point to where somebody's looking at a certain something, you know.
Yes.
I have a couple of them that I've done with Pinocchio.
Oh, I see.
That's a marionette that I bought that I put in different positions
Excellent.
to make a still life out of it.
And his nose doesn't get any longer, I guess,
Well,
with each painting.
I have them sitting on an old, like 1930 something book with a long nose on it.
Oh, super. I can see that you really have a lot of heart into your paintings, just
I
the
don't
way
think
you
anybody
talk
understands.
about it. I can understand it from my point, because you put so much of yourself into a painting. Like you say, I did a painting to kind of in remembrance of my time in Vietnam and coming home. So I painted a war pony that is limping, and he's all decorated out as a war pony, but he's riderless. Well, when you come home from different things or go through the bumps in life, you always sort of head back to home, and you see the tents in the background. Well, that's what that painting meant to me, but no one really picked it up until I explained it. And then, now it's on display permanently, I guess.
Oh, that's good.
So it's, again, I can identify, and I bring these things up because our viewers can identify. Their paintings probably mean more to them than would ever. Of course, each person, the buyer, will end up having their own reasoning behind their love for that painting. So just starting at a basis with our own heartfelt inspiration seems to flow over into maybe the viewer or the purchaser, that may be. Well, I have to ask you, how long does it take you to complete a project?
Actually, I do not race to get a painting done. Some people like to get them done fast. I don't. I am building something, and it's not done till it's done.
I understand. I'm the same way. 3 months on the average. I'm sort of a perfectionist or persnickety. I've been called.
Well, I paint every day, so
I see.
So really, some of the paintings are like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yes, oh, that's super. I just can't wait to share the paintings as we edit them into the program today. Well, Spotlight on the Arts attempts to inspire our viewers in their own quests. So do you have any words that you could share that might inspire a beginner or even one who likes to expand their interest in his or her own art adventure?
I'd say one of the biggest things is practice. Just keep doing it. Refer to other artists' paintings, how they do it, analyze it, and just keep practicing.
Excellent. Just keep going after it.
Yep.
And you might surprise yourself. And then that leads into my next question. You know, every one of us has our favorite pieces of work and reasoning behind the painting, the artwork, and they call them their favorites. Even sometimes we are surprised as we continue down that path that we accomplish such a piece. So can you identify and share with us those favorites and why they become a favorite with you? And maybe our viewers will pick up on that also.
I have a lot of paintings I call my favorites, but not one particular one though. You know, it's just I have several paintings that I just like.
Close to your heart.
I think I'm most amazed at the ones I did a pretty good job back when I first started painting.
I see.
And I don't know how I did that.
Yes, surprised you, all right?
Yeah.
I understand. Okay. So what could you name a couple? Then we'll make sure those get edited.
Fishbowl. I took a round fishbowl and I have a big bag of wood blocks, for kids' wood blocks, and I put them in the bowl, but I arranged it where the blocks say fish bowl.
Oh, excellent. Creative now, I tell you.
Yeah.
And again, if you can picture that, these blocks in a fishbowl, now that's going to take some intricate work. So that gives you an idea about Wayne's work, as you'll see during the program. Well, Wayne, are you showing at any venue at the moment? I know we're going to be with me at the Run Center in May, but at any other venue besides Bill Woods, or to include Bill Woods?
Rockyport Gallery in Rocheport, Missouri.
Oh, yes.
Have some paintings there.
Excellent, okay.
At McCreed's Gallery in
Lebanon.
Bennett Springs.
Bennett Springs, yes. Yes.
Or maybe it is Lebanon on the edge.
Well, it is Bennett Springs. I'm familiar with that also. So yes, so those folks around Bennett Springs, those folks around Rocheport, stop in. You're meeting Wayne personally here at JCTV Spotlight on the Arts. So do get out and visit the galleries and see his work. Well, Wayne, I want to thank you for contributing to Spotlight on the Arts. It has really been inspiring to visit with you. Would you like to leave us with a website, an address, phone number, email address?
I don't have a website. You can go to my name, W-A-Y-N-E, Doornbosch, D-O-O-R-B-O-S-C-H. You can go to that in Facebook and see every painting, well, not every painting, but paintings I've done for years.
On Facebook.
On there.
Okay, super. We'll put that on the screen also so our viewers can log on and don't forget to like, as they say. Well, once again, on behalf of Spotlight on the Arts and JCTV, thanks again, Wayne. I sure have enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, Rick, for having me.
That's a pleasure. Well, next year on Spotlight on the Arts, we'll be talking, we hope, with Astral Glass, the glass blowers out of New Haven, Missouri, with a glass blowing expedition example that I taped in the field. That'll be taped on about April 18th of 2018. My next featured guest on Missouri, Mid-Missouri that is, Mid-Missouri Art News, are artist Cindy Sneeders of Jefferson City, Missouri, and Doug Freed, who is co-founder of the Dom Museum, that's the Dom Museum of Contemporary Art in Sedalia, Missouri. Now that program will be scheduled for April 11th, and you can look for it soon thereafter as it is edited and uploaded to YouTube and scheduled for air on the stations here from JCTV. My thanks goes out to JCTV producer Art Gerhard, who's running the show today, and the crew. And I thank you, our viewers, for joining us. Look for more Spotlight on the Arts right here on JCTV. And don't forget YouTube. I'm Rick J. saying thanks and see you next time.